no surprise that I got lucky again at another video game convention. This was at CORGS, which is in Columbus, Ohio, and boy did they have some things that I have never even seen before, and tons of items that were not for sale. So of course I wanted every display, prototype, promo, and development kit that I saw, but so did everyone else. So I'm out here with...
Game Dad.
Yes.
Game Dad Show.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he is very tall.
I'm abnormally tall. Yeah.
You really are. I have to mention that every time. But
Yeah.
I have a serious question for you.
What is it? What is it?
All right. So out of everything...
Is it about Steve?
So out of everything here at this entire show, is there one item that you'd love, but you just can't, justify spending the price?
There was one that I saw. There was an expensive one, and I did justify it, and I got it.
Okay.
But then there was another one when I was browsing around, and it was here, and I was like, that's really freaking cool, because I've never seen it in person. It's this right here. It is the Family Computer, or the Famicom 3D system. It's complete in box for $150. It's like, that's really freaking cool. Like, one, you never see the 3D system, let alone in box. And it's such a random thing. I have no idea if any of my games even support the 3D functionality, but it's really freaking cool, man.
Yeah, it's something that you really just don't see.
Exactly. But yeah, it was that one right there. It's just like, it would be a neat thing to get, but I can't really justify spending the money on it because it'll probably just go like this on my pretty shelf.
Forever.
Forever.
So I'm out here with...
Millennial Collector, Ohio.
Yes, so the question of the day is, if there's any item that you'd love to have in your collection, what would the item be? Whether it's, either too expensive or you just can't justify it.
One of the games that has to be Futurama. This is my holy grail of all games. I have 200 and some PlayStation 2 games, $10,000 value, and there's like one game that eludes me, and it's been this game. I previously had it in my collection, and I really, really want one. I've been to a ton of video game conventions. It's probably the second PlayStation I want I've seen. Yeah, so not easy to find.
I know, and it's such a sought after game. Like, so many people want it, and it's, the price and great show. And
yeah, it's like it's canceled, brought back, canceled. And for a short amount of time, this was basically like a whole episode. So for that short amount of time that the show was canceled, this is like one of the ways to actually see the show.
So one thing that I saw at this convention is something that I absolutely would love to have in my collection, but it is not for sale. So what do we have here?
So what we have here is, in the late 70s, early 80s, Sears had some custom Atari store kiosks made up for Sears stores. The difference between your standard Atari kiosk that you would have saw at this time and this actually had some Sears exclusive games on here that only Sears had available. So those of us who are old as fudge will remember that Sears actually rebranded both the Intellivision and the Atari 2600 under the Telegames label.
Yes.
So this is what Sears would have in your store. So if you were of an age and Mom dropped you off at Sears, you'd beeline for this thing. Sears would have it on the counter with their table. This is just a case we've put it in. The actual unit itself is just this orange unit you see here. They were made by a company out of Wisconsin, and that's the only reason I have one. There's only like 8 left that I know of in the world right now. What happened is Atari, in their infinite wisdom, wanted all those boards back. And said, hey, send us the boards back. And Sears went, sure, and promptly destroyed all the cases and sent the boards back.
Oh no.
So they're extremely rare, which makes it really weird because like most of them are right here in the Midwest. 3 are in Milwaukee that I know of, ours included. 2 are up in Minneapolis. There's 1 in Oregon, and I think there's 1 in Australia. And I'm not quite sure how it got there. We're Guys, Games, and Beer. We're a podcast out of Racine, Wisconsin. Every week, we maybe review a beer or 2. We bring video games out to all sorts of video game conventions. This is our 2nd year here at CorgsCon, CorgsCon 2024. Thank you, Gary, for having us again, as always. We'll definitely talk to everybody later.
Cheers.
Cheers. I'm sorry. Can I get you a beer?
No, it's okay. So I'm out here with
Steve from the Bros Gaming.
Yes, and I have a question for you today.
I may have an answer.
Okay, so out of everything at this entire convention, is there one item that you really want, but you just don't want to spend that money on right now?
You know, it was a tough choice, but there is a ton of stuff out here. But the one thing that I'd really like to get if I had the money was the Flintstones, the NES this is a grail amongst all collectors for completing the collection. You all know I'm going for the complete collection.
Yep.
So if I could, the fine folks here at Forever Games has this fine copy of the Flintstones. A lot of his grails are like that, but honestly, Brandy, this is the game that I would buy it today, but you know, adulting, bills, mortgage. He knows, he's over there, he knows it's adulting. So yeah, maybe one day.
Well, that's a great choice.
It's a good game.
So I'm out here with,
Retro Rob?
yeah, so I ran into him, and I have a question for you.
Yep.
If you could buy anything from this convention that you'd love to have in your collection, but maybe you just can't justify that price, what is it?
It would be the Sega Nomad. I had one when I was 16 and unfortunately got rid of it. And really awesome to see it again here. And $450 though is a pretty hefty tag, so.
But it does have that lovely box right there.
Correct.
And it is a very cool handheld.
Yep, and it's in excellent condition, so.
Yeah, that's definitely a hard one for people to find. I have one, but I don't have the box.
Yeah.
And even those, I think they also have like carrying cases for them.
Yep.
And they're hard to find and expensive
And
too.
this has the battery pack too, so yeah, so it's a pretty good deal. I was hoping to go 50 lower, but but we'll see. But yeah, this is something I would definitely like to get one day again, so.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
So I'm out here with,
Technish, aka Gene from Caps Off Gaming. All
yes,
right.
and I have a question for you. So out of everything here at this convention, what's one item that you just can't justify spending the money, or it's either not for sale or something that you want?
So I'm looking at this, all right? So this is a Master Chief. This is the most detailed statue figurine of Master Chief I've seen. And I believe it's like $275, right? And I mean, it's great, but I can't justify it because I have a mortgage and I need to
Well, that's a good reason.
I need to pay that, and yeah, and I don't know.
That is the best reason of all.
Yeah, yo, Paul, dog. You know what I'm saying? But I can't justify it. Like, and I know where I put it in my game room too, but I just can't. I gotta be responsible. Like when I gotta be responsible, I gotta tell myself, Gene, be responsible. So yeah, yo. But I want to thank Brandy for having me with my question.
Of course.
And everything. Please check me out on my channel. It's just like if you were on the couch gaming with me. It's literally just like that, yo. Okay? All right,
Very
peace
cool.
out, y'all.
So I'm out here with,
Mystacles.
yes, so we are out here. I'm asking questions to everyone. If there's some item that you would love to have in your collection, but either you can't justify spending that or it's not for sale, what would you pick?
I have to pick in this game right here, and you can barely see it, but it's Project Justice on the Sega Dreamcast, which is sequel to another game that's right over here, which is Rival Schools on the PlayStation 1. Capcom fighter, an amazing underrated Capcom fighter, 3D, kind of like technical fighting, but I've wanted it for many, many years, and the price just keeps going up, and I haven't brought myself to justify to pay for it yet, but maybe one day I'd be able to.
You never know, and you might find those deals too. So
Right.
So that's probably one that if you could find it for a deal, you'd probably get it real quick.
Oh, I would snatch it up. I was gonna try to make a trade deal for it earlier, but I didn't have enough trades, so maybe next year.
Never know.
Right.